story has a happy ever after. And after this story, there's an after party.
Yeah, I've been binging the Scientology in the Aftermath.
Yeah.
And it is really, really good. But it is the worst thing to watch right now during this hellscape.
Yeah, it's a little bit... Get that weed whacker away from my apartment.
It is very much get that weed whacker away from my apartment. And like, I don't know. It's just, it feels very weird to talk about cults while you're trying to relax. It's just, everything is standing on a knife's edge, and like, I've been depressed pretty chronically for like 3 weeks, and I'm still depressed. Don't get me wrong. I'm just functional enough to record an episode with my best friend.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons that we had to take a couple of weeks off, at least for me. I'm like, I just can't.
I couldn't either. And
I couldn't conjure up any kind of personality beyond like eating junk food and watching trash.
Yeah, and like to pull us back into the reality of Once Upon a Time, I think this might have been the best episode.
It was all right, yeah.
Like, no, I meant like for the purpose of getting us motivated to talk about it, it was kind of the best episode to start with.
It's true, a lot of rumple.
Lots of rumple, lots of really good acting, and it was like really good B character shine moments. Like
and Hot Topic Pirate.
Hot Topic Pirate. We finally get to talk about Hot Topic Pirate.
Yep.
The fan darling. And I guess normally we start talking until we run into his character, but I think I'm just going to sort of like start with this.
You run into him in like the second scene, like you see him.
Yeah. But normally whenever we talk about new characters coming onto the show, we talk about like their origin and, you know, like significance in terms of like folktale, fairy tale lore and stuff like that. And that just doesn't apply here at all. And this is when we're going to start to see like real creative liberties of who gets to be a fairy tale in the fairy tale world. This is where it walks the plank.
It jumps the crocodile.
It sure does. I was hoping you would say that. So anyway, I'm Sam Logsdon.
I am Amanda Pierce.
I think. Maybe. We don't really know.
And that's the weed whacker outside my apartment, if you can hear it.
The most charismatic person on this podcast.
The weed whacker.
So last we met our characters in Once Upon a Time, a lot of it was backstory. Like the last 2 episodes were really heavy on like setting up the character motivation for what's going to be happening for the rest of the season. This episode is refreshing because, like I said, it's sort of a it's not quite a slice of life episode, but a lot of the B characters get to have a little spotlight shine on them, and we get to look more into why Rumpelstiltskin is how he is.
Why he be like that?
Why he be
was our was our name for this kind of episode.
Yeah.
Why Rumpelstiltskin be like that?
And we get episodes like this. I think this is probably one of the better ones. In terms of like why he be like this, I still think the ones with him and Bay are probably a little bit stronger than this. But to say that it isn't entertaining still,
I think
it is not
I
true.
have feelings about some of the writing in this episode.
Me too.
But I don't really, it concerns Rumpel's wife.
Yep.
And it really concerns the end of Rumpel's wife.
Yep.
So I'm gonna kind of sit on that for a little bit.
Yeah, this is, I think we've talked about this before, where, like, Regina's morality tally chart is really fun to do because she really does walk that line of moral ambiguity in the show, or at least in season 1 she did. We will see how this plays out in later episodes, but with Rumple, he's similar enough that you can kind of, like, try to calculate where he lies in that gray area.
Yeah.
But the extremes to which he goes to do things, and, like, I think in part just because Robert Carlyle is such a good actor, like, he makes it believable. But sometimes, like, the downside of having a great actor take part of bad writing is it kind of makes the ideas seem more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I don't want to say, like, he gives a green light to immoral decisions, but it just, like, it weighs a lot heavier.
Well, and you don't get what they're trying to deliver, essentially an emotional punch for Rumple in this episode, and you're just not, if it's badly written, you don't get it.
Yeah,
like, there's a scene with him right at the end. It's like the last scene of the show, and I'm like, am I supposed to be feeling something? Is it just because of gestures vaguely at the world outside that I'm not feeling anything? Or is it just because this feels really rushed and strange that they just crammed all of this into one episode? And I'm expected to feel things for and about a character that we did not know.
Yeah.
That was in 2 scenes.
That's probably the biggest reason why it ended on such a blah note.
It just ended with a fart.
Yeah.
It was like a decently filling meal that kind of just ended with a big greasy fart, and you're like, oh.
Ugh. Yeah, like if 1 or 2 things were removed from this episode, I could have easily seen myself giving this like 4.5, 5 apples. But because of some of the decisions, like I really can't do that. Although I will say, this does have probably the first moment in season 2 where I busted out laughing.
Really?
And I wasn't supposed to.
What did you do?
We'll get to it.
What did it do?
Somebody forgot to watch season 1.
I think I did.
No, one of the writers of this episode, or like somewhere in the process of this episode being constructed, somebody forgot, like, literally one of the major plot points of season 1. And when we get to it, I will tell you.
I must have missed it. I'm only on my 2nd cup of coffee.
Same, actually. So how about we talk about what happens in the flashback versus what happens in Storybrooke? Because here, like, this sucks because they're both kind of heavy. Like, a lot happens in this episode to ultimately result in nothing happening.
Yeah.
It's fodder. It's a fodder episode, but it's a really well-crafted fodder episode.
Yeah, it really, really liked Claire in this. I forget the actress's name. Belle.
Amelia, or no.
Oh, I can't remember. It's been so long since we've recorded.
I know. Belle.
Dennis will be yelling at it.
This is a good Belle episode, and they did something kind of cute in Storybrooke that was like, oh shit, I bet they were planning on this. Like, you know how sometimes people make, like, split decisions, like, oh, this is the way the character's naturally progressing, let's have them do this. This actually felt like it was planned.
Yeah.
And that's the library.
Yeah.
That actually felt like it was a good payoff.
And her kind of connecting with Red actually felt pretty natural.
It really did.
good.
Red's just an awesome character.
And Red talking about pancakes was pretty excellent.
Well, that was beautiful because, so for those of you who forgot, and actually this was never addressed and is actually one of my biggest problems with this episode, is not once did they mention that Regina was the one who kept her captive.
Mm-hmm.
That was never brought up, and that bothers me.
Because not explicitly. It was more implicit because Regina went to visit her.
Yeah, so, like, but because, like, the characters don't know that, that's, like, potentially really shaky groundwork for miscommunication-based events. And I hate that. I hate stuff like that so much. Like, when literally one thing of dialogue could change how you think about things.
Jefferson freed her, right?
He sprung her free.
Yeah, but I don't remember why he did that exactly, or how he found out about her.
Because Regina sort of fucked him over with his hat. He got mad at her. How did you
learn about her being in a basement?
Can we chalk it up to him being a mad genius?
Unknown.
And he's been known to play dress up, so he was able to sneak in.
Yeah, he dressed up as Nurse Ratchet.
Yeah. No, Nurse Ratchet, he put something in her coffee.
Oh, have you seen that show yet?
I watched the first episode, and I have feelings.
I don't want to watch it.
You know what the problem is that if it was something unrelated to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, I would have enjoyed it more.
I love that. Like, I love the movie, but I, like, super, super, super love that book. And learning that Nurse Ratchet's a monster and has always been a monster is kind of not the point of her.
Yeah, it's like...
That upsets me.
Like, I worked in the healthcare field, and, like, the way that I always read into Nurse Ratchet was that she was somebody who was in an establishment that nobody really put a lot of care and effort in and always had a thankless job.
Well, it's and, like the mental health industry. She's middle management in the health industry, you know, and in an underfunded system that views mentally challenged people as subhuman.
Yeah, so, like, feeding off of the perception of that and also just the job itself.
Mm-hmm. Well, and in the book, they talk about, it's narrated by Chief Bromden.
Yes.
So, have you read it?
You gave it to me.
Oh, and made you read it? Or I just gave you a book?
I think you just gave it to me, and I never finished it.
That happens.
But because I'm a terrible reader. Oh my god, we can't get distracted.
But he describes it as a combine, is what I mean. It's a larger machine that she's a part of, not that she's a monster. Anyway, Nurse Ratchet.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a tangent of a tangent.
And the worst part is I understood how we got there.
Yeah.
It wasn't that senseless.
Have you started watching Into the Dark yet?
No. God damn it, Amanda. We need to finish this episode.
It's okay.
Oh, God. I've missed you. I've missed you. I've missed your tangents. And
there's so much to talk about.
There's so much to talk
about. Once upon a time.
So, okay, this is what we mean, folks. Like, this episode has so many things in it that, like, were well thought out, and you had to have been paying attention to it, like, up until this point. Barely. So when you get to certain things that, like, don't make sense, it's really infuriating. So, we're going to start with the flashback portion, because I think I can summarize it pretty succinctly.
I think all of it you can summarize pretty succinctly.
Yeah, so in the flashback portion, before Rumpelstiltskin got turned into the Dark One, we see that his wife is very unsatisfied with him being the village coward, as has been expressed before. And she's drinking with a bunch of pirates. And she goes on and on about how useless of a husband he is, and how They really need to go out and see the world, after she's been drinking with pirates.
If you will, she wants adventure in the great wide somewhere.
Oh, God. It's like, when she started saying that, I was like, do not say, I just want more. Do not say, I just want more.
I want adventure.
In the great wide somewhere.
Neither of us can sing well enough to justify that song.
Huh?
Neither of us can sing well enough to justify that song.
No, and if I do, I sound like Tiny Tim. That's the curse of having a really good head voice. I want adventure in the great wide somewhere. Mm-hmm. Mouse propaganda, folks. So she ends up. Okay, this is weird because we all know that she's setting up wanting more, and then she can't be found necessarily. And this babe shows up at Rumple's door. Like, this blonde woman is, like, kind of attractive. Just being like, oh, hey, Rumple, the pirates took your wife. You should go get her.
Your wife's a total hoe and ran off with some pirates.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know if it was the actress in her delivery or the fact that I was kind of distracted of, like, this really attractive and, like, clean woman showing up in this dusty place.
She's just so clean.
Yeah. It's like, dude, how can you be upset about your hoe of a wife leaving you when you have this babe at your door? Like, genuinely concerned about you. But that's just where my mind goes sometimes. The captain, who is not Hook yet, I forget what his name is.
Killian Jones, which is it's the dumbest name. I'm sorry.
Fuck
it's
me.
Dumb name. Killian Jones. Go to hell. It would only be worse if it was Johnson. Killian Johnson.
It would be worse if... No, I could see if it was like Davy Killian. Davy Killian
I kind of did a Rumpelstiltskin laugh right there.
He challenges him to a fight for his wife, and he doesn't do it because he's a goddamn cripple.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I'm intentionally using that word ironically. I don't actually call people with disabilities cripples, but
Mm-hmm. But also, it's kind of been a week, so kind of F everyone and everything at this point. Like, not specifically crippled people.
I mean, technically, Amanda, you're kind of a cripple. Like, between the two of us, you're the cripple.
Considering my legs right now, I am absolutely not at peak performance physically.
Yeah, so I can definitely use the cripple card on you.
I miss crunch bars.
So yeah, Rumpelstiltskin got cucked by a pirate, and then he became the Dark One.
Total beta soy boy.
Yeah. He is simping for queer bait, dreamy David Jones pirate.
Hot Topic pirate. I think that's a Game of Thrones joke, but I don't care.
That is, and I kind of like you. Yeah, it doesn't apply here.
It's the first thing I thought of when I saw his face.
It kind of is. He's definitely like every Hot Topic fuckboy that I ever dated.
Yes, he reminds me of one of your Hot Topic fuckboys.
Yes, exactly
that.
Yeah, and he becomes the Dark One. Many years later, a person who we all know is Smee. There's no way of getting around it.
He has a goddamn bright red beanie.
If you're familiar with the Disney, like, isms, like their marketing, their branding, their characters, you know right away that it's Smee. And you know that he's double-crossing Rumpelstiltskin with the promise of another magic bean.
Yeah, he didn't say who he was, but you look at that red ass hat and you're like, that's Smee ass Smee.
That is. He basically gets Rumple to
Was he gonna betray him from the jump? They never really revealed that, because they were gonna throw him overboard at the end, and he did have the bean.
Yeah, it's hard to tell because, again, this episode feels very rushed in certain spots. So he was either...
I don't think he was gonna betray him from the jump. I don't think that's what it was set up, because the pirates captured him.
Yeah.
If he was working with the pirates from the beginning, I'd be like, okay. Clearly.
Yeah. I think part of the reason why I think that is because of what happens in Storybrooke, and we'll get to that. It's fucking dumb.
Yeah, they kind of introduce him as like, I am the person who can find things that people want to be found. And kind of like a chaotic neutral character. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. It's me.
But he's still such a wimp.
Smee's a wimp?
He's a wimp and a pirate simp.
Well, they kind of do that thing that they do in the Disney movie where he's almost sympathetic, where he's like, I left the key at the bottom, good luck.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, and again, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So, Smee is, trying to get Rumpelstiltskin to believe that he can find a magic bean for him, like the one that sent Bay to another land without magic. And it's here that we realize, oh, snap, Killian Davy Jones, Cheer Up Sleepy Jean, Hot Topic, Eyeliner Fuckboy Pirate, is back in town.
Ooh, sorry. You might have heard my computer bleep.
Oh, no, it's fine. And him and Rumple end up having a duel at dawn for various reasons. Because the color of his skin.
There was a line here. He was like, "Oh, it's a rat." No,
it's a crocodile.
More like a crocodile. I'm like, more like a glitter toad, but okay.
Yeah, well,
because you see what they did to Sam. You see, Sam, do you see what they did?
How can you tell I'm doing the face?
Hey, Sam.
I'm doing the face.
I'm getting really close to the microphone.
I know you are.
Sam, you know what they did? The glitter toad skin that Rumpelstiltskin has.
Yep.
They made him the goddamn crocodile.
They also made him the beast. So why not?
I want to know how he eats the clock, Sam. I want to see Robert Carlyle eat the clock.
I want him to deep throat a pocket watch.
I just want to see it all.
Take it all in, baby.
Why'd they make him the motherfucking crocodile? In a world where you can be anything, why would they make Robert Carlyle a crocodile?
You know what? In a world where Robert Carlyle could be anything, why the fuck did he sign up for this show?
Listen, it was before they did the sequel to Train Spotting. It was well after Ravenous. Money was probably a little bit tight, and you gotta do what you gotta do to make that money, honey.
I knew the answer, Amanda. I just didn't want to hear it. This week's been hard enough.
It's like that, I forget what I was watching, but it was Christopher Plummer has a quote where he says, film is what he does when he's not acting.
Yes.
So Once Upon a Time is what Robert Carlyle does when he's not acting. Oh!
Okay. Oh, are you okay?
That wasn't a mic drop. That was a... I told you this, but our listeners don't know that I got a coffee warmer. Mm-hmm. I told Sam I'm officially bougie now. I got like a little thing. It's a gravity-weighted coffee heater upper. Mm-hmm. But it didn't keep my coffee actually warm. So now I got a little silicone hat for my coffee with a little gem on top. And it's super cute. But I had some coffee on the bottom of the mug that was partially dried. So when I went to re-up my caffeine fix, it kind of stuck to it. And then the heater dropped onto the table with a crash. So it wasn't a mic drop, it was a coffee heater drop.
That's less epic, but
But
I'll
if you're
allow
going
it.
to invest $20 into something to keep your coffee warm while you're working, I'd invest in the $9 6-pack of hats for the top of your coffee.
They kind of look like butt plugs, but the cute ones.
Bad and bougie is what just bougie as hell anymore.
Oh, God. So we need to tie this up really quick. Once Upon a Time did a Once Upon a Time where they subverted your expectations about what Disney properties actually were like by calling Robert Carlyle Crocodile. They have a sword fight at dawn where Robert Carlyle does the whole, like, I'm going to show you what it's like to, have, like, what does it feel like when your wife leaves you? It feels like your heart's being ripped out. Let me show you.
Well, and they say...
And then he is stopped by his wife.
Yeah, they have the fight because he says that his wife died. Davy Jones.
Yeah. So, like... But he was under the assumption that he had been lying to his son that she had died.
Yeah,
anyway. So
he knew that she had just left with some pirate-ass pirates. But, I keep on thinking Hot Topic pirate. God damn it, I gotta stop ripping off the Game of Thrones.
Davy Jones. That's who, he's Davy Jones. They really wanted him to be called Davy Jones.
The eyeliner pirate says she died.
But she didn't.
But she didn't. She was in love with him after one night, as you do. Yeah, and are
you ready to get on your soapbox yet, or do you want me to tie this up?
So she shows up and she's not dead, right?
She's not dead, and then what happens is she's like, hey, Rumple, we know that you're looking for the magic bean. Come aboard the ship. Let us live, and we'll give you the bean. And they attempt to double-cross him on the ship. And Hook has the magic bean in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? He ends up ripping out his wife's heart because she confesses that she didn't ever love him.
Yeah. And he was posing like he was about to forgive her. And then he said, but, like, I can forgive you, but why would you leave our son?
Yeah.
I had to go and tell Bay that you were dead. And, like, can you imagine what you put your son through? And she's like, I'm sorry, but I was in love with Eyeliner Pirate.
Now, here's the thing that I don't know if we have a proper timestamp for this or not.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually, like... this is definitely after Bay disappears. Otherwise, he wouldn't be looking for the bean.
Yeah.
But I think this is probably pre-Bell.
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
He's still definitely evil in this.
Yeah. So I'm only asking to get, like, the correct Rumple mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What Rumples is we dealing with?
Are we at a full Rumple? Are we over the Rumple Humple?
I don't think we're quite over the Rumple Humple yet.
Yeah. I think we're at the apex of the Humple.
I can't draw this joke out any longer. I can't think of anything.
That's okay.
I can't joke.
Yeah. In part because of the soapbox in question.
And once again, gestures vaguely at the world outside.
Yeah. It's important to note, too, that after he kills his wife, fuckboy Davy Jones, eyeliner pirate, has the magic bean in his hand and is not giving it to Rumple. So naturally, Rumple cuts his damn hand off to get the bean.
Yeah.
Okay, and as it turns out later, he did a sleight of hand.
I hate you.
And he actually did not have the magic bean in the hand that Rumple cut off. It's dumb, but it makes for entertaining television and not a single drop of blood spilt.
That's what I was about to say. That was the most bloodless I just lost my hand ever.
Yeah. And the hand, when it initially dropped, looked good, but for the reveal that nothing was in it, it was a very bad hand.
Bad hand.
Yeah. So I don't know why they had to, like, switch out props. They could have used the good fake hand for that reveal, but they didn't. Maybe it wasn't pliable.
It died in a horrible nacho eating accident. I don't know. I can't. Being funny is hard sometimes.
It was too hot that day and it melted.
Yeah.
It turned into a horrible nacho cheese accident.
It's just like Cousin Itted away.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm too good for this show. Send me my royalties.
I'm going to be in the Addams Family remake. I once played King Lear's left hand. That was this shit.
I'm waiting for Bucky to lose me.
Oh god.
So, as we're finishing this up, Rumple got deceived, and Smee ends up joining the pirates because of reasons. He's obsessed about either eternal life or eternal youth. Doesn't really matter. We never get an explanation as to why. So they go to Neverland, okay? All after burying Rumple's wife at sea. Now then.
Sorry, that was funny as hell. They throw her body overboard and she just like keeps on whapping up against the side of the ship.
It's very funny.
That was actually one thing that made me laugh out loud, is they throw her over like wrapped up in a blanket and then she just like falls straight down and then the waves just go smack.
It's not a very graceful burial.
Her poor dead broken body is just smacking up against the side of the ship.
She's probably there in Neverland. Theoretically, that body probably went through the portal. It's still smashing up against it in Neverland.
The ship goes through like the little hole to Neverland, and then her body just falls from the hole and lands on the deck. They're like, shit.
I hope so.
She was a nag in death, and she's a nag in life.
So yeah, this is post-Bay. So we have, first off, this mother more or less being like, well, I left my child for Pirate Dick. But you have this being said by Rumple, who recently lost and kind of abandoned him. He immediately regretted it, and we had this really nice, beautiful character arc. Mm-hmm. We had a lot of time dedicated to why him leaving Bay was a bad decision and him realizing the impact of that decision. So, as hypocritical as it is, we at least have him coming through as like this fleshed out character, doing everything he can to get his son back, regardless of the decision. Talking to the mother who left him for Pirate Dick, that we've only known for like 2 or 3 scenes now.
Yeah, and he like...
It's unbalanced.
First of all, you don't know why that there was anything wrong, really, with their relationship until after she's left and she's come back. Like, you know she's kind of unhappy that he didn't go and die in the Ochre Wars, but, like, that he's a coward or whatever, which doesn't really wash with me.
You know what it is? It's very Spartan, you know? And there's nothing to suggest that, you know, there's like this like mentality of the tribe, the village that he's in, where that's like a thing, especially with how many men are in that village. Yeah. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's not like this Like, you don't get, like, a lot of these, like, other stronger pariah women going around because their husbands all died at war. That's never been a thing.
Yeah.
You know? So if they had made a point to make that a thing, or even if, like, what would have made more sense is if she was stuck at home with Bay while he was out drinking away his misery and stuff like that, and being cooped up for so long, being like, well, screw you. You are a coward. You're a cripple. You're an alcoholic. I'm going with the pirates. That would have made more sense. And that also would have explained why he would be so attached to Bay.
And there was one sentence she had out of all of the 2 scenes we got her in before she disappeared that she said, "We could go anywhere. Don't you want to leave this town where you're no longer a coward?" You never got the gist that she was, "I want to be a pirate when I grow up. I'm trapped here, and I want to be a pirate, and I don't love my son enough to stay here." Like, even from the thing where she was out drinking, and she was, like, telling Rumple to go to hell. As soon as Bale shows up, she's like, "Oh, I'll leave." Like, she immediately gets up. She's like, "Oh, my son's here. I'm gonna go." So the only kind of visual thing we've got, or only kind of storytelling element we've got as her as a mother, is her going, "Oh shit, I don't want my son to see me drinking with pirates."
Yeah.
Telling
so
off my
she's
husband.
not, like, that heartless.
Yeah. If they had even sold it as, like, "I never loved him, it's what my family expected of me," or even "I got knocked up," or whatever.
Yeah, like, that wasn't even implied at all.
No, there was nothing implying she was discontent with her life other than Rumple was a coward.
Yeah.
And so her suddenly leaving and then suddenly showing up and then going, "Oh no, I fell in love with this pirate overnight. And I was willing to give up my child and my life here."
And I'm just going to say it right now. Is Davy Jones' Hook attractive?
He's fine.
He's fine. He's not attractive enough for me to buy somebody like, "Yep, gonna leave my husband and kid for this dick."
He's got some nice beard action going. I mean, he pulls off the eyeliner sufficiently. He's fine.
As a drag performer, I have to stan a little bit because his look is really easy to do if you naturally have higher cheekbones. You know, feminine men out there, I appreciate you. You make my job as a drag performer a lot easier. But is it worth leaving my kid and husband for?
Let's be honest, is it worth leaving Robert Carlyle? No.
Hell no. Even cripple, coward Robert Carlyle.
No.
It's still Robert Carlyle.
I still want him to give me a little cuddle.
Yeah. You know, I'd like to spindle his shank sometime.
I bet he's a good cook. Like,
oh my God.
In fiction.
Lamb chops?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like he'd be easy to talk to.
Yeah, a good stew. We know that he's capable of making a good stew.
He is very capable of making a very good stew.
So that was the flashback, and there's like a little nugget kind of thing at the end that I feel like we should save like the last scene for the end of this conversation, because it is kind of a kick in the dick.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So before we get to the kick in the dick, we got to talk about Storybrooke, and dear God, this is a hot mess.
Yeah, I mean, the long and the short of it is Belle is getting increasingly upset that Rumple is a coward because he won't be honest with her.
Which is weird phrasing, and I know why they said it like that, for like the sake of symmetry and storytelling.
It's because they want that lost story parallel.
They do, and it's like, it's not a stretch. Like, it's believable, but it's just like really awkward phrasing.
Yeah,
like,
you would say like you're.
Why can't you just be honest with me?
You're guarded. You're unemotional. Maybe you're not open. But saying that you're a coward because you won't open up to me.
It's like, it's weird. I'm gonna buy it because both of the acting is really, really good.
Because Belle is a good actress.
Belle and Robert Carlyle are both wonderful performers, and it's like you're rooting for them.
Yeah, so she runs off and makes friends with Red at Granny's, which is a diner again.
Although they must have really good iced tea. And this is actually where it's like simultaneously kind of entertaining and kind of frustrating, because the show remembered that Belle had been in captivity for 28 years.
Mm-hmm.
She has never had iced tea.
Or pancakes. Or as we learn at the end, a hamburger.
Which is so cute.
No, that was adorable. That was so a cute little line.
We'll get to that too, I promise.
Yeah.
But like Red's befriending her, and I guess because she was in like the next kingdom over and was a servant of Rumple for long enough that not too many people in Storybrooke would know who she is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like actually like kind of refreshing to like get new character interactions without having to introduce new characters.
Well,
you know?
and I don't think Red was necessarily hanging out with a bunch of people either.
No, and it felt very organic. I appreciated it, and you know, Red even tells her about, you know, like, you know, you can stay here at Granny's for a little bit if you need a safe place. It's like really good feminine bonding. It's very, very good. She talks about the library.
But yeah, for the first time since we've met Belle in how many episodes, she mentions, I like books.
Yes. It's been a while.
I don't think she's ever mentioned liking books, ever.
She did with Skin Deep.
She did?
She did.
I don't remember.
It was passing.
Oh, okay.
Because of, you know, like, budget.
That was like 5 years ago we reviewed that. So.
I know. 5 years ago, back in March. That's so true. That's so true.
It's so true, it hurts my bones.
So, like, we finally get to see her, you know, like, going to the library that's been closed. And here's where I was thinking, like, okay, I think they knew that Belle was going to be involved with this library.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's part of the reason why they had it closed, was because she was locked away. And eventually she would come to here.
Well, and that kind of makes sense. Planned. That kind of makes sense because Henry found out about the fairy tale world with a storybook.
Mm-hmm.
So Regina wouldn't want the library open for anyone to, you know, check out a book for their child, maybe, and find out, oh, shit.
Yeah, so that's like, that was good planning in the show, okay? But Smee comes around, and we know that it's Smee because, first off, you can remember his chubby little cheeks anywhere, but he also has the red hat.
Yeah.
And he kidnaps her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm trying to like get this unfolded, because as soon as he kidnaps her, Rumple puts up these missing person pictures and goes to her father.
Well, no, he enlists David.
No, he goes to Belle's father first, who basically tells him to piss off.
Oh, okay.
But then he goes to David. Now, David at this point has been acting as a replacement sheriff, and he's also been working down in the mines with the dwarves to try to find fairy dust. And this scene with him working with the dwarves is hilarious, because you can tell by the way that they're using the pickaxes that they're not putting a lot of weight on it.
Mm-hmm.
So something was up with their sound tech, and this kind of comes to show how rushed this was. they were trying to act like they were putting force behind it, but they couldn't actually hit hard so that people could hear what was being said on set.
Yeah.
And something about that to me was really, really funny, especially because, like, David is there in, like, a tank top, and, like, clearly he got, like, a little bit more swole for this role. But, like, you see him, like, very daintily wielding this pickaxe. Like, beep, beep, beep. Like that, but, like, trying to muscle through it.
Hi, tee.
It's funny. But it's also a necessary scene because we get to hear how much he hates sand. I mean mine dust.
I hate sand.
I hate mine dust. It's dark. It's gritty.
It gets everywhere.
So keep that in mind. In part because the mine dust comes back later, but also because of the horrible planning for set design and sound design.
Mm-hmm.
So Robert Carlyle goes to see him, okay, to help him find Belle. Now here is the best joke in the entire show that they did not mean to write. They're going person to person in the town to see if they've seen Belle. And along the way, they talk about the people talk about their grievances with Rumpelstiltskin, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And how much they hate him and all the wrong things that he's done. And as they're going to Granny...
They won't get anyone to help them.
They can't. Now, as they're going to Granny's, Rumple asks him how him and Mary Margaret make it work. And, you know, there's like the, oh, you're asking for dating advice? No, but how do you do it? And David says, honesty.
Oh, they didn't think that through very well, did they?
Somebody didn't watch the first season of Once Upon a Time, where literally several episodes were dedicated to the fact that David didn't know how to be honest.
Uh-huh. That he was a lying liar that lied, like a lot.
I laughed my ass off when I heard that.
That's actually a very good point. I didn't miss that.
He's like, honesty, and teamwork. After I've lied profusely for the better part of like 3 months, and me and my wife are separated because we didn't know how to work as a team to stop the Dementors.
So, like, you know... Also, you know, like, we haven't been together for 28 years, so we really haven't had to make it work.
Oh my god. It's...
Goodness.
Everything about that was hilarious. And I think if it wasn't for that, because, like, there's other bad writing stuff that happens in this episode, but, like, that kind of saved it for me because it was so bad.
Yeah, that's pretty... What can I say but yikes?
Oh, God. So, yeah, they go to Granny's, and after basically convincing Red that nothing bad's gonna happen to Belle if they find her, she's like, hey, yo, since the curse has been broken, my wolf powers are coming back. I can smell her out. And they end up going right back to Maurice's flower shop.
Flowers? Why did it have to be flowers? She can't sniff her eyes anymore.
Well, her tracks stop there. So we don't actually know how much the flowers overdo her scent. It was like very
she
convenient.
Can't track anymore.
Yeah.
Because of the smell.
Yeah. But also it stopped right there too. So,
yeah.
You know, good timing. This is kind of messed up, and I kind of hated this. But we discover that Smee was hired by Maurice, Belle's father, to put her in a mine shaft and send her across the town line where there is no patrol and you can still lose your memory. All because he doesn't like the fact that she likes Rumpel.
Yeah.
And because no one told him that she was locked up this entire time by Regina, not Rumpel. So it's a very easy thing to understand why he was upset. But again, one little line of dialogue would have cleared that up. Actually, you know what? In this case, I don't think it would have helped.
No, I don't think
he still would have been mad.
And Smee dragged her away, and he's like, I love you. I love you. I hate when they fucking do shit like that.
So Rumpel is able to help out because, you know, he still has magic. They stop it in the nick of time, and Belle has a great moment of being like, yo, thanks for saving me, Rumpel, but I'm mad at you. Dad, I'm really mad at you. I don't want to see either one of you guys because, you know, I have agency and I'm a boss woman.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt, again, the writing was kind of tacky, but the way she delivered it really saved it.
Yeah, and it actually felt kind of earned. Like, yeah. Rumpel saves her, and she's like, I'm done with your shit. I'm done with your shit. And I'm a girl boss. I'm going to do my own thing now.
I'm going to drink as much iced tea as I want to. And this is like the nice part right here, okay? So Red gives her a whole stack of pancakes and is like, hey, somebody left this for you. And it's the key to the library. And she goes into the library, and Rumpel's there, and basically is like, listen, I'm not trying to win you back. I just want you to understand that magic for me is a crutch. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to break the curse that I put, because if I cross that line and I try to find my son, I'm going to forget why I crossed that line.
Yeah.
And it's heavy, it's emotional, good acting. All around good acting.
It's just, he's honest with her, which is nice. Which
is what she wanted.
And which is really kind of the Beauty and the Beast thing, is that he needs to learn that he can trust people enough to be vulnerable to them. Even in the old Disney Beauty and the Beast.
So, like, we can agree that if it would have ended there, it would have been okay.
Yeah.
But it didn't.
Hamburgers.
And well, yeah, the best pickup line that was delivered awkwardly, but like cute awkwardly. It was literally like, I'm not a huge fan of Manic Pixie Dream Girl shenanigans, but it felt like a Manic Pixie Dream Girl moment that I could get behind.
Well, Claire in Lost is kind of like that too. She's just kind of that adorkable awkward. She's not really a Manic Pixie. She's not really a Manic Pixie Dream Girl because she doesn't have that kind of energy, but it's definitely that like adorkable energy. Where she's just like, have you had a hamburger? I've never had one. Could we get one together sometime? And it was just a little bit of showing of that, like, I don't forgive you 100%, but you opened up to me, so here, I'm gonna be vulnerable back a little bit. It's nice. I like that kind of thing.
Yeah, and, I don't actually think I got to say this, but, like, when Ruby gives her pancakes for the first time and is telling her how pancakes work and how syrup works, that's super nice. That's a lot of showing and not telling. Because when she said that she never had iced tea before, like, Ruby didn't think that was weird. You know? Mm-hmm. I mean, like, she might have thought it was a little strange, but, like, she didn't, like, chastise her for that, and she also didn't take anything for granted with her, you know?
Yeah.
So it was like, if I'm going to have to explain to you how pancakes work, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't ever treated like, it wasn't like a full E.T. moment. It could have been an E.T. moment, but it wasn't. So having like that kind of like we can't take for granted what she is and isn't comfortable with or knows about the real world and like how we can make it cute. It made the "have you ever had a hamburger" statement that much more endearing.
Yeah.
And like I believed it. I believed that she never had a hamburger.
Why would she have ever had a hamburger?
I meant in like terms of delivery, not in terms of like
film
logic.
In terms of literally the character has never had a hamburger.
Yeah, like I don't know. It was super cute, and I could have given this higher rating if it wasn't for like the last 2 bits.
Well, in the rushedness of the entire fairy tale land section.
Yeah, there was a lot of sloppiness, and that could have been enough to save it. But remember, we said that this was it was like a covert fodder episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you didn't really realize that this was a fodder episode until the end. Because in Storybrooke, Rumple has Smee tied up yet again and is like, I need to know where your boss is. And by that, he meant the captain.
Yeah.
Cut to Hook staring into a I can't remember the word. Like a spyglass.
Yeah.
And Cora approaches him with the remnants of the wardrobe.
He's
talking about how they're going to go to the story.
Dirt.
Yeah. And I guess I don't know how much this was intended, but a while ago I was watching a video from Rantasmo, who you've watched, right?
Oh yeah.
So he does this really good essay about Peter Pan and Captain Hook.
Mm-hmm.
As sort of like Captain Hook being this like set-in for like an aged queen, you know? Yeah. And especially in a culture that values youth, Captain Hook can really be like queer-coded, but like in a very specific kind of way. So to see Captain Hook being this sassy fuckboy, eyeliner wearing, hot topic prick. It's a very unusual interpretation of what we're used to seeing. And it's like, I get the logic behind it. It wasn't just saying, we need to make Captain Hook sexy. It felt a little bit more methodical. It's like, we're not going to code him as being a gay villain. We're going to code him as a bisexual fuckboy.
Yeah.
I don't
think that much thought went into it. I think they said, what if it was Captain Hook but hot? And also, speaking of queer coding, we make him less villainy by making him straighter.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying bisexual.
Yeah.
Instead of just straight up gay. It's like...
Well, they did kind of code him as a slut, so that tracks with coding as bisexual, so...
Yeah. And, I mean, no straight man wears eyeliner like that.
I mean, a couple. I can think of a few. Kinda.
Your husband doesn't count.
No, he doesn't. I've never put eyeliner on him.
Oh, that's true.
He doesn't get my eyeliner.
For how much you pay for it? Absolutely not.
Hell no. I don't care how many black eyeliners I have. They all belong to me. They're mine.
So, Here's my conundrum with this episode.
Oh, the one thing you missed was Smee got hired to work for Hook.
No, I mentioned that.
Oh, you did?
I just said it quickly.
Blacked out.
Yeah, that's fine. I have a conundrum.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of really good things in this episode, but all of the things that felt rushed, like not just from a writing standpoint, but also like the thing with the sound.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, you know what? The choreography in the sword fight scene, not spectacular, was probably the best I've seen in Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, I was trying to watch it while they were fighting, and I was like, okay, for Once Upon a Time, for, network TV, this is fine.
For network TV standards, it was good. So I am going to give it credit for that.
It wasn't exciting, but it was not shockingly inept.
Yeah. So my problem is that if I count the highs and I count the lows, and if I equaled it out to a 3 for like a spot even, that doesn't really feel right with me because of how good the good stuff was.
I don't think the good stuff was that good. It was fine.
Like
the good stuff was okay. It never got as good or as sharp as when
it was so it was frustrating. It was a very frustrating episode.
Well, it's because the actors deserve better writing than what they got. But I can't give the actors points for trying with bad material because it's still bad.
Yeah, it's like they had to work with what they got, and if I took out Robert Carlyle and if I took out Belle and was left with everything else, I would just give it like a 2 or a 1.5 out of
I'd give it a 1.5. I'd give the whole thing a 1.5 because it was just like, okay, here's kind of my thing. Think of all of the Rumpelstiltskin episodes.
Yes.
All of the ones where Robert Carlyle is front and center.
Mm-hmm.
Would you watch this one first?
Absolutely not.
Second?
No.
Third? Maybe.
Maybe fifth.
Yeah. 1.5.
1.5 sounds good. And I think that I can justify that rating because of like the good things that are in there. The have you ever had a hamburger is so endearing, but it belongs in a better episode.
Yeah.
Where's Jane?
That's what I was thinking watching this. I'm like, okay, I don't actively hate this, but if I had to name, even, like I said, just narrowing it down to the Robert Carlyle-centric episodes, this would not. I would just, honest to God, say skip this episode if it didn't introduce someone who I think is going to be a main character.
And even then, like, he shows up enough that, like, you'd be fine skipping this episode.
And I'm going to call it. Maybe I am burnt from OG Hot Topic Pirate Euron Greyjoy.
Mm-hmm.
But I am not liking Captain Hook.
No, and I think a lot of it has to do with, like, not
Maybe you just dated too many Hot Topic pirates.
I think that's it. It's like I've met too many men like this to be enchanted by him. And I think a lot of people who don't date or hang around gender non-conforming people, like it's a rarity for them to be like, ooh, man in eyeliner, and like Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean is really hot and really slutty and I love it. And it's like, that's half my friends.
If it was 15 years ago, I would have had a crush on this guy. On this actor and this character. If I was like 13 to 15, I would have had a crush on him. Now I'm rounding in on 30 and I'm like, I don't like this guy.
Yeah.
As someone who enjoys being in a stable relationship romantically, I'm sure you can appreciate that when you see that guy come in, you're like,
fuck.
This guy is, I don't want to be around this guy. He thinks he's so hot.
Oh my God. I remember what I wanted to say, like what I actually wanted to say at the beginning of this episode. I feel like at some point we need to have a counter for monogamy problems. You know?
For us or for the show?
Well, for the show. I mean, if you wanted to do a separate podcast with me about monogamy problems,
oh,
like,
God.
I feel like at some point that might be a thing we have to do for the show.
It's just...
But I feel like that is also one of the things that you I mean, like, it wasn't the biggest thing by a mile, but it's like, oh God.
We could both name names of who this guy reminds us of, and I have a very clear picture in my mind of two people specifically in my past that this fucking Hot Topic pirate reminds me of, and I'm like,
yep. I could name names too, but I'm not going to.
It's people that I don't want to spend time around anymore. And even in fiction, I'm like, you think you are just the hottest shit on the planet, and you are just not. You think you're so goddamn cool.
For fuck's sake, yes, I've watched Donnie Darko. I enjoy it. I don't want to talk about it with you.
You think you're Robert Carlyle, but you're not Robert Carlyle.
Ugh.
You're every wannabe emo boy who's like, no, you don't understand. My Chemical Romance just, like, gets me. And
you know what? No.
But My Chemical Romance is probably too goddamn mainstream for Hot Topic pirates like him.
You know what? It's like, I don't want to smoke another Clove cigarette with you.
That's That's the exact tactile when he showed up. I smelled Clove cigarettes and, like, strong but bad coffee.
Okay.
Like, and, like, high-end whiskey that you're pretending to enjoy. Like, they're pretending to enjoy. Like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna put all of the ice cubes in this and sip it barely. Oh, God, it reminds me. Oh, I'm going to grumble at my coffee. Maybe I just have PTSD from that particular flavor of douche.
I think we both do. And it's like, it's even worse because, like, again, I said this completely earnestly, and I don't think people understand that, like, as a gender non-conforming person, both in performance and in real life, I have met a lot of people who take inspiration from that aesthetic. Some of the worst fucking people that I have ever had to deal with gravitate towards that. So it's like, before he even says a line or acts, the actual appearance,
I think,
just makes me crazy.
To, like, GNB people is actually not giving non-binary people enough credit. Because this is the person who is like, I don't care about social norms so much that I'll wear eyeliner, you know, just to fly. It's not that they're non-binary. It's that they think it's cool and rebellious to wear guyliner and necklace.
Well, that's another thing, too, is, like, there is a misogyny with gender non-conforming people where to be considered gender non-conforming as somebody who's born AMAB, like, literally just wearing eyeliner is enough for people to read into you like that.
Okay.
And that's it. And it's like, well, if you are just, like, binding your chest as an AFAB person, or if you choose not to wear makeup, or if you choose to get a haircut, you're just sort of treated lesbian by default, and your nonconformity isn't really taken seriously. Because, as we all know, if you're born a woman, your opinion doesn't matter.
I don't know what you're talking about. I put on makeup to record a podcast.
You know what?
An audio medium where no one sees how fabulous my black and purple smoky eye is.
You know what?
But
One of these days, can we record like a video to put on the YouTube
oh
page?
yeah, that'd be great. We can
Actually,
do that.
Can I put this on YouTube?
Do you want to see my face right now?
No. Just like both of our pictures are awesome.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be fun, and then maybe next week we can do one where we both like attempt to look passable.
A very special episode.
A very special episode. Cool.
I'm
actually kind of psyched by that.
Maybe we could even figure out how to like. Oh no, you don't want to watch me watch it.
You watch it?
Like watch us watch the episode and talk about it.
No, hell yeah. No, we need to do that.
Okay, because Disney Plus, not sponsored, has a watch party feature. So we could both watch the episode at the same time. I'm assuming in 2 different places. Why not?
Yeah.
Since you pirate my Disney Plus.
I'm allowed to. I'm family.
Did you see I made a profile on my Disney Plus? I did it as Baby Yoda.
I did, and it's adorable.
I know. I have a little Baby Yoda Funko Pop too. Maybe he'll join us for a viewing party.
Did you happen to see what I watched that wasn't Once Upon a Time?
Mandalorian? Or was it something else? I don't know how Disney Plus works.
We're going to be watching The Mandalorian. I enjoyed season 1 personally, but no, I used Disney Plus to watch Fun and Fancy Free.
No, I didn't. That must have been on Dennis's profile before I made mine. Yeah. No, we will never be sponsored by Disney Plus. You know why? Because Disney Plus sucks. Their interface real sucks.
You know what? If they paid me enough, I would sponsor them.
Oh, I would totally hoe out for the mouse.
Listen, Mouse, I know that I make fun of you a lot. And I know that I blamed you for the fiasco that was episode 4 of Happy Ever After Party.
I wanted the 25-foot yacht, not the 30-foot yacht. Who the fuck do you think I am? Jeff Bezos?
More like Steve Bannon.
Have you ever seen... Do you watch Some More News?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. When he sold out for Bloomberg.
Yeah.
We will sell out that hard.
Like, Mickey.
But you know what? You know what? Skip this episode. Watch Cody Shody. Some More News. That's real good. And watch Into the Dark. And whatever Sam has been watching. Fun and Fancy Free. Why not?
Well, yeah. That's just like I've been relying mainly on the Great British Baking Show to get me out of depression, and I've been watching the Leah Remini's Scientology series.
Scientology and its aftermath.
And the aftermath, which is an older series. I knew that, but it just recently came onto Netflix, and if you ever feel shitty about yourself, you can always see what it's like being a cult member.
If you want to feel better about your life, I would say watch that and be like, well, at least I'm not in a Scientology cult.
Yeah. Actually, in all seriousness, if anybody's watching in here and you grew up in a cult, because I know a shocking amount of people who did, you're loved, and I'm glad you're out.
Yeah, there's a joke with people who study religion that cult plus time equals religion.
Basically.
So it's pretty much a lot of people are born into those kind of tunnel vision. Don't worry, we'll think for you.
I guess to a certain extent that was me.
Yeah,
but in an abstract way and in a way that is socially acceptable.
Yeah, it's more of some cults are more loose woven than others.
Yeah.
But it's a really interesting show. Have you gotten to the part where they talk about Clearwater yet in Florida?
No, but you know what I did The whole thing with Nation of Islam blew my fucking mind.
Yeah, that was a great episode.
That was an amazing episode.
Later, I think it's in that last season, they go to Clearwater, Florida, which was a town that Scientology tried to take over, and pretty much did. So, completely unrelated note, Sam. My dad, I think it's a condo. He bought a condo in Florida. Want to guess where?
Clearwater?
Yeah.
I'm only laughing because I know your dad.
So the last time we went to visit him, we're like, "Hey, Dad, so don't go to any self-help seminars. The people that you don't really know invite you to. Don't take any personality tests." I was like, if you get invited to anything, Google it first. I was like, be careful, because Scientology, like, owns that town still. So.
You know what? I almost auditioned for one of their, like, you know how they use actors who aren't Scientologists to do their paid, like propaganda stuff? I almost auditioned for it.
Did you hear that thump?
Yeah, what was it?
Ramirez just knocked over his scratching post. He was so close to his scratching post that it literally almost landed on him.
Oh my god.
And now he's scratching it on his side.
But yeah, I almost auditioned for it, not because I wanted to, but because of how well written it was. That, like, it wasn't until I got to the bottom where I'm like, oh shit, that's who's organizing this.
Well, and they make you, apparently, if you do work for Scientology, they make you sign, like, a lot of NDAs and a lot of things that I will not publicly speak against Scientology. I don't know if they do that for their actors, but I know they do that for people they bring from the outside in for, like, contracting work. They'll be like, I cannot talk about the nature of this work. I cannot say anything negative publicly about the Church of Scientology.
You know what? I can't really answer that because...
you signed an NDA.
Well, not only that, but... No, I'm just kidding. But it literally looked like a regular casting post.
Yeah.
But there was, like... If you watch enough things with Scientology, you start to realize, you know, like, the wording is kind of awkward.
Yeah.
And, like, the abbreviations for things are kind of weird. And it's, like, oddly prolific for really short messages.
Yeah.
So, like, I kept on... That's why I kept on reading it. It was like, oh, okay, this is something I can audition. And then I was like, wait a minute. This looks really familiar. And then, like, down at the bottom, it says, like, their... It's like Gold something. I can't remember.
Gold Base. I forget the name of
it. No, not Gold Base.
No. I forget
the production company.
Give me half a second. But they do, like, super wordy stuff.
Yeah.
Like, all of it, and it's, you do really get, you get a lot of their lingo if you watch too much of their content. It's upsetting.
And not even just their content, like, people who look at their stuff critically, you do start to, like, realize, oh, crap. You know what it's like? One of my favorite books, and you like this too, A Clockwork Orange, because it's written in, like, the Russo Anglo dialect.
Yeah.
Like, you start thinking in that slang.
Golden Era Productions.
Golden Era Productions, yeah.
I was like, it's Gold something. Gold
yeah,
something.
I couldn't remember it either.
I think they shoot it at Gold Base. A lot of their filming they do.
They do. And it was like... The other reason why I looked into it is because, like, that particular... the particular thing that they were working on called for a lot of actors. So, like, there were literally maybe, like, 3 pages worth of rules. Yeah.
What was it about? Can you say what it was about? Do you know?
I don't remember, but I think it was, like... I think they were filming 2 different things, and they needed, like, a bunch of different actors for it. And I think I remembered because, like, what they were paying was really good. It was like maybe $800
Whoa.
for a day. And you were only there for like a day of shooting, but like that's good.
Yeah.
You know, that would cover a round trip to Gold Base, me getting home and me being able to pay half my bills.
Yeah.
You know? Or, you know, like the first couple of classes for Dianetics, whatever I chose.
No, it would not cover the first couple classes for Dianetics. They tend to have an introductory course that's free, and then you have to start working on the bridge.
Yeah.
So, or
fuck that.
Yeah, no. I think the second class is about $150 to $200, if I remember right. But hi, I'm Amanda. If you want to know a lot about Scientology, talk to me and my husband. We know a lot about it and have never, ever, ever been involved with them in any way. Except for Dennis gets emails from them occasionally.
What the fuck, Dennis?
He signed up for their email list.
Dennis!
He knows
Even ironically, that's bad.
He knows the lady's name. I forget who it is. It's always the same person, but it's probably just a person using the same email address.
Is there like a base in Pittsburgh?
No, the closest one's in DC.
We could infiltrate.
No, Dennis wants to do that too. Dennis is like, we should go and visit. I'm like, I don't want to go in their fucking building.
If it meant not giving them any money, I would do it, but the minute I'd have to pay for something, I wouldn't do it.
I value my human time on this planet too much.
Yeah.
Because they will waste all of your time and make you spend all of your money. And I just don't want to go and have to feed into their bullshit for kicks that badly. I'd rather sit and watch Leah Remini's doc.
But the thing is I wouldn't do it for kicks. I would actually document it.
But then you get Scientology on your dick. And they're like so happy little freaks. I mean, they're not freaks. Don't sue me. I don't have any money, Scientology. I have no influence and I have no money. If by any chance you're listening to this, you're not getting anything out of me. You can have an overly fat orange and white cat. That's about all I got.
Yeah, and I have a lot of debt.
You can have my debt.
You can have my debt, Scientology.
If we ever get divorced, you get Dennis.
Yeah.
That's our agreement.
I mean, I'm not married yet. Again, I don't know. But I'll just give you Danny.
You can have Bam.
Oh my God, yes. Take Bam. You deserve Bam.
Take my Bam, please.
Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
God, this has gotten rambly. How long have we been recording?
Hour and 22 minutes.
Should we go?
We should. So, next time on Once Upon a Time, we're actually going into the realm of royalty-free public domain territory.
We are?
Yep.
Is that the next episode?
Yep. We ran out of fairy tales, so we're entering the public domain.
I knew it.
Uh-huh.
I have no idea what next episode's about, but 1.5 apples for this bitch. Skip it. Watch something else.
1 apple, and the other one has a pretty big bite out of it.
It has a rotten core.
Yes. So, until next time, I'm Sam Logston.
I'm Amanda Pierce.
And remember, it may not be the end.
It may not be happy.
But you are always welcome to this episode. Please take care of yourselves out there.
Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, we all stand tall.